Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Moment of Reflection. In today's reflection, we're going to consider a very important question, which states, how do you view Jesus Christ? There are three options in viewing Jesus Christ. First, he was a liar, claiming to be when he was not. He was a lunatic, thinking he was someone when he wasn't. Or the Lord, as he was exactly who he claimed to be. First of all, his birth was contrary to all laws of life, and his death was contrary to all laws of death. And today, he is the foundation and focus of faith. He is the center and source of salvation. Comparing Jesus Christ to the great philosophers like Socrates, an ancient Greek philosopher who taught for 40 years, he had a student by the name of Plato who taught for 50 years. Plato had a student by the name of Aristotle who taught for 40 years. And Aristotle taught Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great and the Grecian Empire is the empire that spread philosophy throughout the whole world. When you look at Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, these teachers and philosophers of antiquity, Socrates teaching for 40 years, Plato for 50 years, Aristotle for 40 years. But when you look at Jesus, he only taught for 3.5 years, and yet his influence made a significant impact in the world today. The whole world celebrates Christmas in honor of Jesus Christ. So, how great was Jesus' impact in our world today? Well, Jesus had painted no pictures, and yet Raphael, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci look at Jesus as the source of inspiration for many of these great paintings that have been painted in history. Jesus wrote no poetry, and yet Dante and Milton and scores of other poets found Jesus as a source of inspiration in their poetry. Jesus composed no music, and yet Haydn, Handel, Beethoven, and Bach, and countless others reached the highest perfection of their melodies and symphonies and hymns from Jesus, inspired by his life. Jesus wrote no books, and yet there are more books written about Jesus than any other subjects in the history of our world. Jesus built no building because he had no monetary resources. He had no place to live, and yet the greatest buildings that were ever built were built in honor and worship of Jesus Christ. Philosophy, art, literature, music, architecture, none of these things could touch what Jesus has done. He lived around 2,000 years ago, and yet he is the central character in history. He only lived for 3.5 years, and yet he divided history from BC and AD. So the question is, who is Jesus to you? Was he a liar, a lunatic, or the Lord as he claimed to be? If he is your Lord, then follow what it says. Luke 6:46 says, and Jesus said, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not follow the things I say?" So friends, this is all we have for today, and see you again tomorrow in our next episode of Moment of Reflection. And God bless you, and stay safe, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.